We already know that levers are a type of simple machines. Here you can see this cartoon character is also using a lever. Yes, he's using a wheelbarrow to carry his pet. So if this is a lever, can you tell me where is the fulcrum located? And where should be the effort given and which is the load in this case? Well, we know that fulcrum is a fixed point about which the entire lever moves. So here, this point is the fulcrum, which can be denoted by F. And we know that effort is the force which we apply on the machine or on the lever. So this cartoon character is applying effort on the handle of this wheelbarrow, which is a lever. And obviously you can understand that load is something which the machine carries or tries to overcome. So in this case, this pet would be the load and it can be denoted by the letter L. So you can see the positions of the effort, the fulcrum and the load for this type of a lever. So now you have some idea about effort and load. So how can we define these terms? Well, effort is the force which is applied on the machine to overcome some kind of load. So if you follow this animation, the effort is being applied by this man on this rigid plank. So here the effort would be the force which is applied by the man on this machine. And what will be the load? Well, load can be defined as resistive or opposing force which is to be overcome by the machine. So from this animation you can understand that load will be the weight of the big box which is acting in a downward direction. Now you will be learning two new terms related to levers. This is the effort arm and the load arm. Basically, the effort arm is the distance between the effort applied and the fulcrum. That is, the distance between the point where you apply the effort and the fulcrum is known as the effort arm. And similarly, the load arm would be the point at which the load acts from the fulcrum. So here in this animation, you can tell me which is the effort arm and which is the load arm. Effort arm for this picture, you can understand that effort is being applied at point B and F is the fulcrum. So this BF would be the effort arm, and the load arm you can understand will be from the point A where the load is acting and the fulcrum. So this point AF would be the load arm. So we can define effort arm as the distance between the point at which the effort acts and the fulcrum, and the load arm can be defined as the distance between the point where the load acts from the fulcrum. So we have found out the effort arm to be BF and the load arm to be AF. Now for any pivoted body which is at equilibrium, the moments acting on either side of the pivot or the fulcrum is equal, because at equilibrium position the lever or the pivoted body is not moving. Therefore, forces acting on one side is supporting or equilibrating forces acting on the opposite side. So even for this lever, the moment on one side should be equal to the moment on the other side. That is, the total summation of the moments on both the sides about the fulcrum should be same. Then only the lever will be at equilibrium, as you can see from this image. So by the principle of moments, we can define that at equilibrium position, the moment of the load about the fulcrum should be equal to the moment of the effort about the fulcrum. Only when these two moments are equal and opposite, then the lever would be at equilibrium position. So from this we can understand that the moment of the load about the fulcrum and the moment of the effort about the fulcrum should be acting in an opposite direction. Then only this lever would be in equilibrium. So from this diagram we can understand that the moment of the load about the fulcrum is in clockwise direction like this, and the moment of the effort about the fulcrum is in anti-clockwise direction, or it should be like this. Okay? So, by the principle of moments, the two moments on opposite sides of a fulcrum or about a pivot is always in the opposite direction. So let's recapitulate what is moment of a force. Well, moment of a force can be defined by force into the perpendicular distance between the point of application of the force and the axis of rotation. Here in a lever, we are concerned with two forces, that is the load and the effort, and the axis of rotation passes through the fulcrum. So we can apply the principle of moments even for a lever. So from this image, you can tell me that the moment of the load would be load into the load arm, that is the load acting downward, that is the force of the load into the perpendicular distance from the axis of rotation. So load into load arm is the moment of the load, and effort into effort arm would be the moment of the effort, and at equilibrium position these two are equal. So from this you can tell me that load can be denoted by L, and load arm we had already found out to be AF, which is equal to effort we know can be denoted by E, and effort arm we had found out to be BF. Like this. Now we can bring the effort on this side, and we can write it as load by effort is equal to effort arm, that is BF, divided by load arm, that is AF. We can come to this expression from this. Now, is this familiar to you? Load by effort? Yes, load by effort we know is the mechanical advantage of a machine. So, if load by effort is the mechanical advantage, we can replace MA or mechanical advantage in place of load by effort. So, mechanical advantage can now be written as BF by AF, or the effort arm divided by the load arm. So, from now on we know that mechanical advantage can either be load by effort or effort arm by load arm. So, this is known as the law of levers. So, mechanical advantage can now be defined as a ratio of the length of the effort arm to the length of the load arm. Since both the expression are of length, so mechanical advantage again does not have any unit. So, there can be three conditions where the effort arm can be greater than load arm. So, obviously in that case, the mechanical advantage would be greater than 1. There can be machines where the effort arm is equal to the load arm. So, by this expression you can understand that time the mechanical advantage would be equal to 1. And suppose the effort arm, that is the numerator, is lesser than the load arm, the denominator. So in that case, the mechanical advantage would be lesser than 1. So if you want a machine which has a higher mechanical advantage, you know you need to increase the effort arm or you need to decrease the load arm. In that way, your mechanical advantage will be greater than 1. So let's solve a sum. Here we have been given a simple lever which has effort acting on one side. We have a fulcrum which is pivoting this lever, and we have a load acting on the other side. We have been given that AF is equal to 0.2 meters. So AF will be the load arm here because the load is acting at A. So this AF is the load arm, and this is 0.2 meters. We have also been given that the effort arm or BF is equal to 1.8 meters. So here BF is this length, which is equal to 1.8 meters. Now we need to calculate the effort which is needed to lift the load. So how can we do that? We know that by the principle of moments, load into load arm, or the moment of the load, is equal to effort into effort arm, that is moment of the effort. We know load here is given as 18 kgf. We know the load arm is given as AF 0.2 meters, and we have the effort arm. What is missing is the effort. So we can put the given values in this expression and find out effort. So here we have load as 18 into load arm is AF, or 0.2 meters, equal to effort we do not know, so we'll denote it by E, and effort arm we have 1.8 meters. So we can find out E from here. (18) into 0.2. We'll bring the value of effort arm on this side, 1.8. This will give us the effort when we solve this expression. So after solving this expression, we get the effort to be 2 kgf. So from this you can understand that the load is much greater than the effort. So how are we being able to lift up this load? That is by keeping the effort arm to be greater than the load arm. In this way, we can lift up a heavier load by applying a very small effort.